For your hosting and domain needs, head over to HostGator where you could get plans starting as low as $3.95 a month. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So one of the most important things that I work on in my channel is trying to educate people about technology, specifically how technology can actually improve your life. And this is especially true for my younger viewers. If kids are exposed to technology when they're young, then, they will be more inclined to learn technology when they get older. And one of the initiatives that really try to drive this home is the One Laptop Per Child initiative, which is basically offering low-cost computing devices that are offered to countries that are less developed, to people who would otherwise not be able to afford them within their countries, especially for children. Now initiatives like this, they have been pretty much duplicated in other ways, and one of them that stuck out to me was this right here. It's called the PiTop. Now this is something that was new to me. I never heard about it before, but I read an article about it and I found this extremely interesting. And the PiTop is an interesting thing because it's really based upon the whole Raspberry Pi type community where things are modular, things are pretty much bare bones, and also people who are into that type of hardware software ecosystem, they can learn a lot by using something like the Raspberry Pi. Now what's different with the PiTop is that, very similar to the One Laptop Per Child, it's really meant to help educate children, okay? And I think in more of a higher level than the One Laptop Per Child, where the One Laptop Per Child is primarily focused on providing computing to kids. This one's more about teaching kids about science, technology, mathematics, and engineering, and it follows this particular type of teaching, is the STEAM curriculum. When I heard about this, I thought, wow, STEAM, they don't only offer video games, but they offer education as well. So I had to do a little bit of research, but this is a new way of teaching, and STEAM is an acronym. It stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. So this type of curriculum is heavily focused on that. And this is perfect for technology-based products, right? So in this case, the PiTop, it actually comes in two main form factors, and then it also has accessories with it. And much like the whole Raspberry Pi community, this is modular, okay? In this one, you actually build your own laptop. And when I say build your own laptop, I'm not talking about building it online and then they build it for you. I mean, you're physically building this laptop, okay? But the way that is done, this is actually meant for kids, and so it has a very modular design, and I'll get into that as I get a little bit further. And I found this extremely interesting. And even the operating system itself, it has its roots within Raspberry Pi, but the whole focus of this I found really encouraging, okay? And even more so because if when you were a kid and if you had access to something like this when you're young, you would probably be a technology lover for life. And since this gets deep into not only the hardware but also software aspect, because kids also learn about coding as well, this is an extremely powerful way for children to get not only exposure to technology but real hands-on experience on how hardware works, how software works, and also how the children themselves could be extremely, I would say, not only knowledgeable, but they feel extremely powerful because they're the ones who built this. They're the ones who basically got all this software running, and they could also do more creative things because of the modular design. So let's go into each part of this, okay? So like I said, this is based upon the whole STEAM curriculum, and this company, they are based out of the UK. Okay, and so the whole point of this, once again, it is very education focused. And so as you can see here, there's actually two devices. There's the PiTop laptop that you could build yourself, and then there's also this like stand-up desktop, and you see what I mean. It looks like a tablet, a hybrid tablet. And then the accessories, or actually software that comes with it, there is a PiTop classroom, and that allows the teacher to, you know, put curriculums and stuff right on there to present to the class. And it works along with this PiTop coder, which is a coding environment, which is pretty cool. And then here, this is a space exploration / learning tool as well. Learning space is called Ceed Universe, and it's also supported by people you've probably heard of. First of all, Steve Wozniak. And Steve Wozniak, if you didn't know, he's been a big proponent of education and of course technology ever since he co-founded Apple with Steve Jobs. And also another familiar name, even Upton, he is the founder and CEO of Raspberry Pi. So there's definitely some big names here, especially in the tech community, that is supporting these initiatives. And to go forward, let's go ahead and talk about the operating system itself. Now, the PiTop OS Polaris is actually based upon Raspbian, which is the Linux-based or Debian-based OS that is actually in Raspberry Pi, and it's actually based upon Raspbian Wheezy. And the desktop environment it uses is LXDE, and so that is pretty cool. And if you see some of the actual screenshots, you know, it's very simple and clean. Okay, now moving on to the actual hardware itself, like I said, the first thing is the PiTop. It is $300, and if you actually look at the tech specs, very similar to just a standalone Raspberry Pi. This is basically a smartphone, okay, but obviously it comes with a screen as well. And most importantly, like I said earlier, this is modular. Okay, so you know, for $300, of course you could get a laptop that's more powerful, but that's really not the point of this. Okay, the point of this is for children to learn, okay, and learn, I think, things that are extremely important. Okay, so if you look here, it's very simple. So, and I'll talk about the accessories later. So it's modular, but it's not so geeky that kids cannot build this themselves, as you can see here with this really cool diagram, or actually video. I'm just like, wow, that is so cool. And the kids, when they put this together, they'll see how all these components come together, not only from a hardware perspective, but also the software part with the coding, where they see how all of this works together to create a computing device. And that is something that even most adults don't have access to or understand how that works. So I love that aspect of it. Okay, so it is a fully functional laptop, okay, albeit it is more basic, but it's going to allow you to do a lot of the things that most people would do. It has a browser in there. It has access to Google services like Google Docs, Google Drive, and so forth, YouTube, you know, so things that most people would use, and a lot of us use our browsers anyway. And so this is pretty sweet. And so it's, you could do a lot of the same things you would on a normal laptop if you spend most of the time on a browser. Okay, so the next step is the PiTop Ceed. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's looks like a hybrid of I'd say a tablet, and also, you know, like a little all-in-one computer, as you could see here. Okay, now this one, everything's already built and ready to go, so you don't actually have to put this together. But as you can see here, you could just like have it, has a kickstand on the back. And I'm going to talk about these accessories, as you saw in the video how easy it was to put that together. But as you can see here, the price is reasonable, very reasonable, at $149, which is really cool. And the tech specs, I'm thinking this is a little bit lower in tech specs than the other one, or maybe it's the same. Let me see real quick. It might be the same exact internals. Yeah, it looks like it. But still, you know, these are not powerhouse hardware. And the last part of the hardware portion of it is the actual modular accessories themselves. Okay, so if you notice here, you know, the whole design, all the components go at the bottom, you know. Same here as well for the laptop. The components, the modular components, go at the bottom. Okay, and so it's very simple. So here you have things for the audio. You also have the this looks like this is like the coding part, maybe the arts. Yeah, you could actually code games and stuff right here. And I'm not sure what this is for. Oh, prototyping electronics. Awesome. So there's a lot that you can do here. So a lot of things that people in the Raspberry Pi community are already familiar with, they could do a lot of this right here through a much simpler interface, I would say, than just strictly having a Raspberry Pi by itself. And then for kids, this is going to be awesome. So you get a little bit of everything when it comes to technology. So kids learn a little bit about hardware engineering because they have to put this together. They learn some software engineering as well because they are going to develop this. They also learn how to be creative in terms of putting things together as well. So as more and more components are available, they could probably retrofit this laptop to have more functionality. And so this is very similar to shop class when I was young, that you would actually build stuff, but in this case, I think this takes it to a whole nother level, and it's for the modern age and beyond. And so this is like really what gets me excited about technology, when you could take something that seems very normal to us, but then put it in a way that will not only offer a computing device, but also offer a learning device and also a love for technology. And so if there's anyone who actually has this device, I'd be interested. Or if you do live in the UK, if you're familiar with this, because it is in like 1,500 schools. And this was a crowd-funded, I think, project initially. But I really do hope that they have a lot of success with this, and that more companies, if it's not only PiTop, but maybe more companies adopt something very similar to this. And this makes me interested in this whole concept of STEAM classrooms and also these modular laptops. I build computers, I think a lot of geeks have before, but I've never built a laptop, not like this. And so too bad there's not one that's modular this way for more powerful computers. I'd really love to do it, to actually put one together. And, it still runs on a, Linux-based operating system. So that makes me happy as well when it comes to an operating system. And so if you had any thoughts on this PiTop build your own laptop or the actual stand, this one right here, the physical, I guess, desktop slash tablet device, be sure to put that in the comments area below. And if you did have any other thoughts on the Raspberry Pi even as well, leave that as well. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, leave a like and subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/Geek Outdoors. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.